Good morning. I'm Sarah Blanco, and welcome to the Veterans Memorial Webcast. Today we have Ava Lawrence with a local news story, Alma Lopez with a national news story, and Maria Reina with a sports report. Let's get started with Ava and our local news story.
Thank you, Sarah. Mark Reagan states the Hidalgo County District Attorney's Office will be meeting with the family of late Texas Department of Public Safety Trooper Moises Sanchez to talk about whether to pursue the death penalty for the man accused of shooting the trooper. Our office has tentatively decided how they want to handle this case, but is meeting with Mr. Sanchez's wife and family before the decision is made official. Hidalgo County District Attorney Ricardo Rodriguez said. He said he could not comment further on the case. A grand jury indicted 24-year-old Victor Alejandro Godinez on September 19th on account of capital murder of a peace officer. Godinez, an Edinburgh resident, is accused of shooting Sanchez, 48, on April 6 after he fled a car crash the trooper responded to on North 10th Street and Freddy Gonzalez Drive in McAllen. Authorities have said Godinez fled on foot and is accused of shooting Sanchez after the trooper caught up with him in the 1500 block of South Maltese in Edinburgh. He had been shot twice, once in the shoulder and once in the head. The suspect is also accused of shooting at two Edinburgh police officers who eventually apprehended him east of Mon Mac Road and State Highway 107. Neither officer was injured, and police recovered a .357 revolver authorities say Godinez used in the shooting. Sanchez went through months of surgery and rehabilitation following the shooting, and through updates provided to DPS by the family, it appeared he may recover. He died, however, on August 24th following surgery. The two-count indictment against Godinez accuses him of shooting and killing Sanchez and shooting at Edinburgh police officer Sandra Tapia. Court records do not reflect an arraignment date for Godinez, who remains jailed on $3 million in bonds on 3 counts of attempted capital murder. This concludes our local news report. Now back to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Ava. Now we have Alma Lopez with our national news story of the week.
Thank you, Sarah. Staff writer Cecilia Smith reports that the UN warned that the conditions could soon be unprecedented. The oceans have been a helpful ally in limiting the effects of climate change, but the waters can no longer keep up and could soon deteriorate to unprecedented conditions, warns a new report from the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. More than 100 scientists from 36 countries worked on the report, which found that oceans are warmer, more acidic, and less productive. Climate change is also melting the frozen sections of the planet, called the cryosphere, and causing rising sea levels, according to the report. The world's oceans and cryosphere have been taking the heat from climate change for decades, and consequences for nature and humanity are sweeping and severe, said Colbert, Vice President of the UN panel. The oceans have absorbed more than 90% of the extra heat caused by climate change in the past 50 years. Through that retainment, temperatures have drastically dropped, and the oceans are much warmer than before. And warm oceans can help fuel stronger storms. The oceans have absorbed up to 30% of human-caused carbon dioxide emissions, making the oceans more acidic. Acidic oceans are a problem for shellfish and coral reefs because it makes it harder for them to build shells with carbonate. An Australian government agency downgraded the Great Barrier Reef's outlook from last month to poor to very poor, citing climate change as the greatest threat. The warning is accelerating ice sheet loss in Greenland and the Arctic, the report says. Greenland experienced record melting ice this year. Its ice sheet annually loses more than 275 gigatons of ice on average. That melting is important because it helps determine how quickly and how high sea levels rise. A recent study found that the Arctic has lost much sea ice in roughly 4 years as the Arctic did over 30 years. For example, under high emission scenarios, sea levels could accelerate to 15 millimeters annually by 2100. In the lower emissions model, sea levels might only rise at 4 millimeters per year. If we reduce emissions sharply, consequences for people and their livelihoods will still be challenging, but potentially more manageable for those who are most vulnerable, said Hosen Lee, chair of the IPCC. This concludes our national news report. Now back to Sarah.
Thank you, Alma. Now we have Maria Reina with our sports news story of the week.
Thank you, Sarah. Victor Mather reports
About that retirement, forget it. Antonio Brown, the talented and troubled wide receiver who can't stay out of the news lately, has rescinded an earlier pledge to stop playing in the NFL. Less than a week after declaring on Twitter that he was walking away from that league, Brown on Thursday sent out a Twitter message saying, "I'm still the best. Why stop now?" He followed it with the suggestion that he would be a part of the 4th team this year and an apparent reference to a Lil Wayne song, "The Game Need Me, I'm Like Test Answers." The question is, given the accusations of rape and sexual assault he faces, will any NFL team sign him? After Brown's 9 star-studded years with the Steelers, his relationship in Pittsburgh deteriorated and he pressed the team to trade him, which it did in March. His first stop was at the Oakland Raiders, where he feuded with the league and his general manager before being released. The Super Bowl champion New England Patriots immediately signed him, and he made his debut for them a week later, even catching a touchdown pass. But before he could make a second appearance for the team, the Patriots released him. To date, the story of his season has been one of the most bizarre in the league's recent history, and has included a cryogenic therapy mishap in which he blistered his sockless feet in sub-zero temperatures, and a dispute over his helmet. He preferred to play in an older, unapproved model, but was blocked from doing so. The most serious problems Brown faces are accusations of inappropriate sexual behavior. A woman who once worked for Brown as a trainer said in a lawsuit filed earlier this month that he had raped her. Later, an artist hired to paint a mural at his home said in an interview with Sports Illustrated that Brown had approached her in the nude. Days after the revelation, she said he sent her threatening messages. Thank you. Now back to you, Sada.
Thank you, Maria. This concludes our Veterans Memorial Webcast of the Week. Thank you for watching and have a good day.